time I was 34 years old, I was totally blind. I'd been training with a long white cane for about 4 years, and I really had no way to read print or to produce print, and that's pretty important for most of the jobs I had the capacity to do. In the early times of looking for a job, I really had to screw up my courage, and the inner determination I had to be supported by being brave. Putting myself out there, saying that I could do a job, which I generally understood, but a lot of that job I would have no idea about. So when I got to my final job interview before I was appointed by the City of Salisbury, I was in a place where I had a lot of confidence in what I was offering.
I'm the manager of Healthy Ageing and Access at Salisbury Council, and Mike is part of that team. Mike originally started here in a part-time position to begin to look at how Salisbury Council might develop an action plan. Well, Mike has a disability, but working with him we often forget that. But Mike is blind, totally blind. He uses a cane and a wayfinder and a range of different sorts of equipment to assist him do his job.
The other great thing was that Interwork would offer the employer a heap of other support to help me through some of the really big difficulties in those days of getting access to print.
Now, when you've got people with a disability, obviously they might need some support in the workplace. So we look then at workplace mentors, someone who's there physically to help them with their job or just there to support them.
I've been working with Mike for 16 years. Initially, when I started working with Mike, most of the materials that he needed to access for his job were in printed form. So we had to find a way of being able to get that printed form put onto a computer so that Mike's computer could read it.
Much of what she does now is, for example, taking photographs for me, which I put into my PowerPoint presentations about some of the examples of good and bad access in the City of Salisbury.
She'll give him cheat notes of Braille so that he can actually deliver the presentation to elected members or whomever he might be presenting to.
Interwork have been such a support to me. They've been very understanding through the years. They would always give that support to Mike and myself when we needed it. For Interwork to have allowed both of us to work together, it's just made everything easier. It's made it easier for his position at Salisbury and for me as well. I get a lot out of it.
The other thing we like to do is, as part of making clients as independent as possible, is workplace modifications. In Michael's case, we've obviously done quite a few over the years, including screen reader.
So that screen reader program allows me to read a Word document like that. This little Braille Note Apex, when we first purchased this with Interwork, we paid over $9,000. Before I had this, I really struggled with audio cassette recorders, that sort of thing, to keep notes at meetings I was at. Now I can do it in a breeze and people don't even know I'm doing it.
Doing the workplace modifications is great because you're giving the client independence, and it's really gratifying to help someone in that respect.
My role started to become being a mentor to people in other councils where we lobby for much better conditions, information and funding to enable us to do our job for our community much better.
I suppose I'm always surprised at Mike's ability to undertake tasks, to do his role, to go beyond and above what is almost required of his role. He just does all of those things that we would expect from any able-bodied person. The relationship with Interwork has been really central to Mike being able to be so productive in the workforce.
Each of us has a major role to make sure that we're all working together for the betterment for the business and also for the job seeker, so that the employer is completely supported with any issues that they require on the way through.
For their real understanding of Mike's role and their commitment to regular meetings and really being right across what he needs, I think is a great confidence to know, and we've been really delighted with the relationship.